Hey there! Before we dive into this life-changing story, if you're ready to unlock your potential and transform your life, hit that subscribe button and join our community of dream chasers. Let's get started. I wish someone had told me earlier that the hardest paths in life are the ones that carve you into who you're meant to be. At 25, I was lost, drowning in a cycle of self-doubt, endless scrolling, and a job that felt like a slow death. My life was a blur of Netflix binges and late-night anxiety spirals, wondering why I felt so empty despite having everything society told me I needed. That was until I stumbled across Mindset, The Road Less Traveled by Carol Dweck. One line hit me like a lightning bolt. The view you adopt for yourself profoundly affects the way you lead your life. It was a gut punch. I realized I'd been choosing the easy road, avoiding risks, dodging challenges, and pretending I was fine. But I wasn't. I was stuck, and the only way out was to embrace the hardest path I'd ever faced. Let me take you back to 2022. I was working a dead-end retail job, clocking in 50 hours a week for barely $30,000 a year. My days were spent folding clothes, faking smiles, and scrolling Instagram during breaks, comparing myself to influencers living dream lives. I'd see posts of people traveling the world, launching startups, or just looking happy, and it crushed me. I felt like I was falling behind, like life was passing me by. At night, I'd lie awake, my phone glowing, doom scrolling until 2 a.m., convincing myself I'd figure it out tomorrow. But tomorrow never came. I was addicted to distraction, and it was killing my soul. The turning point came one rainy Tuesday when I got passed over for a promotion I didn't even want. My manager said I lacked initiative. Ouch. That stung because deep down I knew it was true. I was coasting, afraid to fail, afraid to try. That night, I picked up Mindset from a dusty pile of books I'd bought to improve myself, but never read. Another quote hit hard. Why waste time proving over and over how great you are when you could be getting better? I'd been so obsessed with looking successful that I'd forgotten how to grow. I was hiding from failure, but failure was exactly what I needed. So, I decided to take the hardest path. I quit my job. No safety net, no backup plan, just $2,000 in savings and a burning desire to stop wasting my life. I moved back in with my parents, which felt like rock bottom at 25. My friends were getting married, buying houses, and here I was sleeping in my childhood bedroom, surrounded by posters of bands I didn't even listen to anymore. But I made a promise to myself. I'd face every fear, every challenge, head on. I started small. Waking up at 6 a.m., no phone for the first hour. I replaced scrolling with journaling, writing down my fears and dreams. It was brutal. My brain screamed for dopamine hits, but I pushed through. I enrolled in an online coding boot camp, something I'd always wanted to try but told myself I wasn't smart enough for. The first month was hell. I failed every coding challenge, my confidence tanked, and I cried more than I'd like to admit. But Dweck's words echoed. Effort is what makes you smart or talented. I kept going. I studied 10 hours a day, fueled by cheap coffee and sheer stubbornness. By month 3, I built my first app, a clunky to-do list that barely worked. But it was mine. For the first time, I felt alive, like I was building something real. The hardest path wasn't just about coding. It was about facing myself. I had to confront my insecurities, my fear of rejection, my addiction to instant gratification. I stopped comparing myself to others and started measuring my progress against who I was yesterday. By the end of 2023, I'd landed a freelance gig paying $3,000 for a single project, more than I'd made in 3 months at my old job. I wasn't rich, but I was free. Free from the cage I'd built around myself. The hardest path taught me that growth isn't comfortable. It's raw, messy, and painful. But it's worth it. That's my story, but it's not over. The road less traveled is still stretching out in front of me, and I'm learning every day. If you're stuck, feeling like life's passing you by, know this. The hardest path might just be the one that saves you. Subscribe to join me on this journey, and let's keep pushing forward together. The hardest path didn't just break me down, it rebuilt me. After quitting my job and diving headfirst into a coding boot camp, I was riding a high of small wins, but the truth is, the journey was far from over. Mindset, The road less traveled kept me grounded with words that still haunt me. Becoming is better than being. I wasn't there yet, wherever there was. I was still sleeping in my childhood bedroom, still scraping by, still fighting the urge to fall back into old habits. But I'd learned something crucial. The hardest path isn't a one-time choice. It's a series of deliberate, grueling steps. Let me share how I turned my chaos into a roadmap you can follow too. Step 1 was rewriting my daily routine. I used to wake up at 10 a.m., grab my phone, and lose 2 hours to TikTok before even brushing my teeth. It was a trap. I started setting my alarm for 6 a.m. and leaving my phone in another room. That first hour became sacred. No screens, just me, a notebook, and my thoughts. I'd write one goal for the day, like solve one coding problem or read 10 pages. It sounds small, but those tiny wins stacked up. By week 3, I was spending 80% less time on my phone, down from 10 hours a day to just 2. Apps like Freedom and Forest helped me block distractions, but the real game changer was discipline. I visualized my phone as a slot machine, designed to steal my time. That mental shift made it easier to say no. Step 2 was investing in skills that scared me. Coding wasn't just a career move. It was a test of my willingness to fail. I'd always told myself I wasn't techie enough, but mindset challenged that lie. In a growth mindset, challenges are exciting rather than threatening. I leaned into the discomfort. I spent $2,500 on a boot camp, half my savings, and committed to 12 weeks of intense learning. I failed quizzes, debugged code until 3 a.m., and doubted myself daily. But every small victory, like fixing a bug or building a basic web page, fueled me. By the end, I'd built a portfolio with 3 projects, including a budgeting app that I still use to track my freelance income. That app alone saved me $200 a month by cutting mindless spending. Step 3 was redefining success. I used to think success was a corner office or a 6-figure salary, but chasing that left me burned out and broke. Instead, I focused on progress over perfection. I set measurable goals. Complete one freelance project, earn $1,000, then $5,000. I joined platforms like Upwork and Fiverr, pitching myself even when I felt like an imposter. My first gig paid $500 for a simple website, peanuts to some, but to me, it was proof I could do it. By mid-2024, I was earning $4,000 a month freelancing, working 30 hours a week instead of 50. I had time to read 15 books that year, run 5K without gasping, and even start a blog sharing my journey. Success wasn't a destination. It was freedom to live on my terms. The benefits were undeniable. Before, I was anxious, overweight, and stuck in a job I hated. After, I was 20 pounds lighter, sleeping better, and waking up excited for the day. My income doubled, but more importantly, my confidence did. I stopped obsessing over likes and followers and started valuing my own growth. I wasn't just surviving, I was building a life I loved. The hardest path taught me that solutions aren't quick fixes. They're habits, choices, and a willingness to keep going when it hurts. If I could do it, a broke, insecure 25-year-old with no plan, you can too. The road less traveled is waiting, and it's not as scary as it seems. The road less traveled isn't a sprint. It's a marathon that tests your soul. I'd clawed my way out of a life that felt like quicksand, trading 10-hour phone binges for a freelance career and a sense of purpose. But the hardest path doesn't end when you hit a milestone. It demands you keep moving, keep growing, keep fighting. Mindset, the road less traveled. Burned one final lesson into my brain. The passion for stretching yourself and sticking to it, even when it's not going well, is the hallmark of the growth mindset. That's what I want for you. Not just a quick fix, but a life where you're unafraid to chase what sets your heart on fire. So let's talk about how you can take that first step right now and make it count. You're probably watching this, feeling that same gnawing emptiness I did. Maybe you're stuck in a job that drains you, or you're scrolling through life wondering why you're not where you want to be. I get it. I was there, refreshing Instagram at 2 a.m., comparing myself to strangers. But here's the truth. You don't need a perfect plan or $1 million to change. You need one decision, to choose the harder path, the one that scares you. For me, it was quitting my job and betting on myself. For you, it might be signing up for that course you've been eyeing, starting that side hustle, or even just turning off your phone for an hour a day. Whatever it is, do it today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Start with something small but intentional. Download an app like Forest to block distractions and track your screen time. Set a goal to cut it by 50% this week. If you're spending 7 hours a day on your phone, that's 3.5 hours you're giving back to yourself. Use that time to learn something new, whether it's coding, writing, or even cooking. I spent $1,500 on a boot camp, but you don't have to. There are free resources everywhere. YouTube tutorials, Coursera, Khan Academy. Pick one skill that excites you and commit to 30 minutes a day for a month. You'll be shocked at what you can do. I went from failing coding quizzes to building an app in 3 months. You can too. Don't wait for permission or confidence. They come after action, not before. When I pitched my first freelance client, my hands were shaking, and I was sure they'd see through my inexperience. They didn't. I got the gig, and that $500 check was worth more than the money. It was proof I could do hard things. So, take that leap. Apply for that job. Start that blog. Message that mentor. The worst that can happen is you fail, and failure is just a detour, not a dead end. By 2024, I'd failed dozens of pitches, but landed enough to earn $48,000 in a year, more than I'd ever made folding clothes in retail. This is your wake-up call. The hardest path isn't about becoming a millionaire or going viral. It's about becoming someone you're proud of. Every step you take, no matter how small, builds a life you actually want to live. So, hit that subscribe button to join thousands of others who are done settling and ready to grow. Share this video with one friend who needs to hear it. And in the comments, tell me, what's one hard step you're going to take today? Maybe it's cutting your screen time, signing up for a course, or just admitting you're not happy where you are. Whatever it is, name it. Make it real. The road less traveled is waiting, and it's got your name on it. Let's walk it together.